in my introduction, I made mention that the People's Democratic Party is supposed to be the opposition against the ruling party. And I said for some people, they believe that opposition is dead because the People's Democratic Party killed the soul of opposition in the country. A party that was founded in 1998 and has fielded 3 presidents, Olusegun Obasanjo, who actually started in 1999. We had the late Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, who died in office, and his vice president, Goodluck Jonathan, took over and, of course, stepped fully into leadership in 2011. Well, he was not given a second ticket, and that brought the opposition, APC, into power. They became the ruling party. But 2015 till now, people believe that PDP is not good when it comes to being in opposition.
Yeah, maybe because the way the APC played opposition was very unfair, was demonic, it was very brutal, it was ridiculous, and
Wow.
very, very immoral. Just few weeks back, you had some of their governors come out to say that what they did to the Jonathan government was deliberate. You had them in the news come out to say that they were very intentional about concocting lies and saying so many things that were untrue. Against Jonathan governments, they had to give the dog a bad name so as to nail it, so as to hang
Hang
it.
it.
They said so many bad things that were not true. And you see, because we're a party that is committed to proper democratic tendencies, because we're very deliberate, we're a very fair party, there's no reason for us to engage in name calling. There's no reason for us to engage in name soiling. There's no need for us to engage in lies and destroying anybody's character or image because of politics. One of the things I know that our party will not do is that we will not for any reason engage in the kind of opposition politics APC played. Let me take you back to the memory lane.
All right.
That in 2011, 2012, in fact, as a matter of fact, let's start from maybe the recent one was 2012, the end fuel subsidy, the fuel subsidy protest.
Occupy Nigeria.
Occupy Nigeria, saved by the Save Nigeria group, by the Tunde Bakari of this world, the whole CPC bloc and the whole ACN bloc. Then they came together to form the pseudo democratic group, called they called the Save Nigeria group. Had people like Tunde Bakari, people like Baba Ahmed, and so many very Nigerians that I used to respect. That I used to respect.
You don't
and
respect
I don't.
them
I no
anymore.
longer respect them. But I came around to say, "Oh, subsidies is scam." Jonathan government. In fact, there was a particular person that did a placard, had a carton on his neck, and wrote an inscription said, "Jonathan is a pig." Do you understand? You saw people like DJ Mojua went to Twitter to call the president unprintable names. Jonathan then, you saw a targeted, a coordinated attack on the person, on the integrity, on the credibility, on the governance of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. And in fact, there was some place in the north that somebody actually printed, somebody went to pay the furniture man to make a casket, and they put Jonathan's picture on it. I remember then that Dindo Malay was in the position. He went to make a T-shirt, and I wrote Jonathan Education F9, Health F9, every indices to measure good governance F9. And I wrote corruption A1. Remember when they came and told us that in one day the presidency asked Sanusi to drive 2 billion vans into Aso Rock with billions of dollars. When they told us that Desiani Alusi Madueke actually embezzled $90 billion. And I'm saying, do you know people know what is $90 billion? $90 billion US dollars. Do you think we'll have that in cash in this country? $90 billion US dollars. So they say a lot of things, but because as Nigerians now, we believe anything sometimes. Of course, always.
Is it that
anything.
Nigerians believe anything, but or the
because
fact that
in fact, let me remind you.
Let me come in, please. Let me butt in here. Is it that Nigerians believe anything, or the fact that at the time when Jonathan was the president of Nigeria, things were not rosy. A lot of people were having it bad and tough and
Oh,
hard.
okay, okay,
And
okay,
people just came
okay.
out to express
Okay,
themselves.
okay, all right. Thank you. I so much love this part you're taking me to. Okay, I didn't want us to get here on time, but now you want us to
I
go there.
fast-tracked it.
Okay, let's go there then. Now, so at a particular time, they were complaining about 2015, when Jonathan was going, left fuel at 87 naira, 87 naira, left a bag of rice at 7,500 naira. With 15,000 naira, you did actually plan for a month meal. As a matter of fact, dollar was 180 naira. Jonathan left our inflation rate at 12%, 11.34% thereabout. This wasn't even a big figure. Let me remind you that our ECA, excess crude accounts, was lively functioning, and even local government were collecting ECAs then, excess crude accounts. Now, the quality of life of every Nigerian, in fact, let me tell you, Lagos, their almighty Lagos, was the largest economy in Africa. Are you aware? Okay, that there were a lot of, remember the UWIN program of the Jonathan administration. UWIN raised more than 100 millionaires. That of course I know some of them personally. That I can mention their name. You know they about the GIS, graduate internship scheme, and so many beautiful things. In fact, let me remind you that under the Jonathan administration, on a particular day, the governor announced, established, and funded 6 federal universities, 4-year inclusive. Remember? It looked like it's been a long time, but 2015 was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, this country was on a path to meaningful prosperity. 2015, we were on before APC came, we were sure that the future was bright. And every Nigerian youth wants to try to make it in Nigeria. But look at it today. If you bring 10 youths on the same space, 8 of them wants to relocate. 8 of them are already planning relocation. 8 of them. Why? The young people of this country do no longer believe in the dreams of a nation. And that's quite very pathetic. It's unfortunate. Why? Because of the policies, the concept, the style of administration, the policies without the one face of the APC-led administration. See, let me tell you something, Evelyn. The rule opposition in Nigeria are Nigerians, not PDP. Because
the real opposition in Nigeria
are
are
Nigerians.
Nigerians,
Not even
not
PDP
the
members.
PDP.
Even though PDP members are also Nigerians. But you see, truth of the matter is that the campaign in 2027, it is APC versus Nigerians. It is not Nigerian versus, it's not PDP versus APC. People that their quality of life has reduced meaningfully. Let me remind you again that when we were campaigning in 2015, one of the major campaign points was BBUG, bring back our girls, the Chibok girls, that we got to later know that it wasn't exactly, there was, of course, girls were kidnapped. I'm sorry, we don't insult the memory of the dead. Girls were kidnapped, but it wasn't exactly the way it was portrayed in the media. And of course, the Lagos Ibadan media, I don't want to mention the name of stations, the Lagos Ibadan media played a critical role in ensuring that the Jonathan administration was thwarted and that peaceful government was truncated. Quite very unfortunate. But you see, again, back to your question.
Mr. Ogunsina, you are a bit trying to shift the goalpost at this time.
Really?
Yes, because the people know that the opposition is the People's Democratic Party. Major opposition, by the way. We have other political parties. And when the PDP was in power, we knew what the APC did as opposition.
Maybe as a political party,
now you have made mention of the fact that the people at this time, they are not finding it funny. The economy, according to you, is not really going the way people want.
Are you finding it funny?
But why is the opposition silent at this time?
We are not silent.
Where are the big wigs in PDP? What are they saying about it?
So let me remind you that in 2015, during Buhari first term, we had very respected Nigerians, men like Tunji Breadway, a former presidential aspirant. We had very phenomenal men, our uncle, Charlie Boy, area father. Many of them, they went to the streets to protest against some of the policies of the Buhari administration. They were beating black and blue. Now, if policemen can beat Tunji Breadway, I think it's late now. He's a billionaire. He has plenty of money. If people can actually this government hates people protesting against it. Let me remind you again that the way to the opposition, like we're taught in school, and like it's available in every normal modern democracy that we've seen in the world, it is through engagement, right?
Okay.
So the opposition serve as number one watchdog for the government, at the same time to call attention to what the government isn't doing properly. You know, like the way we were engaging the Ajimobi administration when we were in the opposition. You know, we were engaging them intelligently. We'll ask them questions about education. You promised this is what we have now. You promised on infrastructure, this is what we have now, you know. And then we made the government, we deliberately made the Ajimobi government commit to the people. Commitment that we know that will be difficult for them to follow to the interest of our political party. Do you get it? And if there's anything we're trying to do to Nigerians to say, okay, we're talking, and Evelyn, believe me, the PDP is talking.
Are you?
But you see, yes, we are talking. So, but you see, let me tell you where we are now,
Where are
and
you?
where we are coming from. We're coming from a very unfair, a very unfortunate place as a political party. Don't forget that since 2015 we've been immersed in different crises. And if you ask me sincerely, I think that since 2015 till now, we've had quite a number of spokesperson. Maybe the most outstanding one will be Lisamitsu, that spoke for us in Jonathan era. We've had people like Olalok, a very fine gentleman, a very phenomenal journalist that I have a lot of respect and honor for. And of course, the current MPS, who I strongly feel can do better.
His boy is not doing well.
I feel he can do better.
His boy is not doing well.
I feel he can do better.
That means
right?
he's doing good.
For everybody should try to improve. I think we should also try to improve. But he's doing to the best of his ability, he's trying his best. But really, the MPS of PDP should do better. So really, again, back to the question. So if you're looking at what we should do, you already know, the stand of this government against protests. Even though in the laws of the country, in every democratic country, protests, peaceful democratic demonstrations, they are part of a very pure, sincere democratic government. But it looks like the APC-led federal government rules us as if we are in the military era, military junta. It suggests to me that they don't abide by the rule of law. They like to lead us as if we're in the military junta. Let me give you a practical example. Don't forget the Shites protest, and how many of them were killed? Remember the NSAS protest? The NSAS protest wasn't really about NSAS. It was a protest. It was an addition of all the misdemeanors in government, all the errors of governance, and then we've compiled them, and we're just tired. I just wanted to sorry us. Okay, we ended October 2020, right? You remember how the story actually ended? Quite very unfortunate and
Mr.
disturbing.
Ogunsina.
So I'm saying that nobody wants to risk their life. I
Yeah.
don't want PDP members to die because we know that the Tinubu-led Tinubu Buhari administrations have zero regard for the opinions of Nigerians, have zero regard for protests or demonstrations. They don't mind. They are the commander in chief. They don't mind asking military people to attack you, as they've always done. As a matter of fact, during the campaigns of the APC, I remember a particular time when the media persons, journalists, asked the president about subsidy. It was the APC presidential aspirant then.
Yeah.
And he responded by saying that, yes, we're going to remove subsidy. That was his word. And you see, if you like, can protest. And there's nothing I'm going to do about it. If you like, protest. I'm sure it's not
all
easy
the
to.
presidential aspirants back then, the
Okay,
major presidential
but there was
aspirants,
there was
said they were
not
going to
there was
remove
none of them.
subsidy.
There was none of them that said that even if you protest, I'm not doing anything about it, because protest actually means that we are not completely okay with this. Evelyn, democracy should be about the people. If you remove the people at the fulcrum of democracy, what you have is no longer a government of the people, for the people, and by the people.
So are you saying that subsidy should not have been removed?
That's different.
Because a lot of people believe that subsidy is a scam that should be removed.
Okay, so you really want to go there? Let's go there a bit too.
Let's just touch on
Okay,
that.
let's just touch on that. In 2012, when Jonathan removed subsidy, I was quite very big on the fact that this thing has to go, right? This has to go. And this Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu went to Gandhi Farming Park in Lagos, Freedom Park. The subsidy is a scam. And then Buhari was seen on the street of Abuja and Kaduna shouting, subsidy is a scam. Unfortunately, they got to the government, and the first thing they did in 6 months was to completely remove that same subsidy. So Nigerians felt, okay, it's all right. If this subsidy, which suggests to be a very, very big English, right? If subsidy is a problem. Google remove it now, right? Let's remove it. And we know that we have solved this problem once and for all. So they removed it to 145. They came after a year and said, yes, we removed it though, but we did not actually remove it very well. So they said 165. Remember? No, even the removal wasn't very, very thorough. There's still a part of it we have to remove. 180. And then we on that particular year until this man, this Mashiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu came and said, as from today, no subsidy. And my question is, Oga, what has your president been removing all this while?
You don't think it's
gradual
in face?
Well, that's what I think is okay. So this is my sentiment.
Okay.
I believe that every president should remove subsidy. Subsidy is a scam. I agree. It's not something. It's not sustainable. Actually, that's it. It's not a scam, but it's not sustainable for us economically. Okay. But you see, for a country who is said to be the world capital of multidimensional poverty, there's unfair on the people. Don't let me tell you, we are not a poor. We are not a rich country. We have poor people in this country. 65% of our population are actually poor. They live below $1. That's $1 was 180 per day. You know, people live below 50 cents per day in this country now. People are that broke. Now, so you don't remove subsidy on electricity, on petroleum, in a country where people struggle to barely survive. Do you understand? If I want to, it's because, you know, the way God created Nigerians, we are like pregnant women that usually forget labor pangs after childbirth and just want to go back to labor room again. Say, I want to have a baby. You just forget all of the pains that comes with labor. Let me remind you, December 2022, January 2023, till I die, I will not forget those times in my life, where I was my own money in my own account. So I have to use 2,000
the old
to buy
naira scarcity
to buy 2,000, to buy 10,000. Only for me to hear that the same man that made me use 2,000 to buy 5,000 has embezzled. Now, so it's crazy that today we're talking about plea bargain for that man. That's a man, Mefele. Plea bargain. We're talking about plea bargain. Let me tell you, when they say APC is fighting corruption, I like to, if it is possible, to slap people that say such words. I say, are you actually normal? Which APC?
It's not pushing us because
so opposition again.
One
Opposition.
Time. All that you have said, I can see. I mean, it's been a conversation of reminder. Like, let me remind you.
No. So you understand?
Let's talk about
wait, Evelyn.
What is now?
Evelyn. No, I answer a question,
I
but you see, we have to do this.
Let's talk about what is now, because it seemed from our conversation thus far, it seemed like you're pushing the idea, exactly, the idea of opposition to Nigerians. It seems like
if opposition is about
that means you're no longer opposition.
No, we are now. So if opposition is about name calling, if it's about character defamation, if it's about doing things the way APC did it,
it's not about that.
We weren't going to do that. But if it's about calling the attention of Nigerians to the failure of government,
yes.
If it's about doing what we have to do, serving as watchdog to the government, I tell you, we have done that very well, though we can do better. We can't do better.
Because I see some of your members, moving in droves to the ruling All Progressives Congress.
That's not in politics. It's not nothing.
You think that's politics? We have former governor of Delta State,
and the vice presidential
Okowa, who was the vice presidential candidate in the last election.
That's not new.
We have the sitting governor of Delta State, Boroweri, also move along to the All Progressives Congress, and this is with the old political structure in Delta State. For the very first time, it may seem that the People's Democratic Party is losing its fits in Delta State. Delta State has been ruled by controlled by the People's Democratic Party. Now, the PDP will be an opposition in Delta State, while the APC will be the ruling party. We see what's happening in Osun State. A sitting House of Rep member, Honorable Wale Oke, has moved to the All Progressives. All Progressive, for 6 times. He did that for 6. But I'm saying this. I mean, before then we saw Senator Ned also move to the APC.
We are not bothered.
So
Now, it's
I'm wondering. These are big names. These are big wigs in the PDP.
So wait.
How are you handling
Again,
that?
Evelyn, let's speak to specifics.
That's
right?
politics.
Yeah, no, let's speak to specifics. Anytime I have to speak to Nigerians, I like to say things the way they are.
Okay.
So we don't lie to people. There's life after PDP, right?
All right.
And that's the truth. Now, so again, I'm a data person.
All right.
And I love to visit data a lot. My favorite preacher, Charles Spurgeon, he said one of his messages, he said the past is a nice place to visit, but not a good place to stay. In 2023 elections, just 2 years ago, we had the general elections in this country. Let's start from that Delta state. That's the Delta. The sitting governor, his name is Okowa. Ifeanyi Okowa.
That
was a sitting governor of Delta, the PDP governor. As a matter of fact, he was the vice presidential candidate of the PDP.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
8th-term governor, vice presidential candidate of the PDP. Sheriff Oborevwori, the governor, was the speaker of the assembly then. And he was on the ballot as the gubernatorial candidate. Guess what, Evelyn? PDP lost that woefully. Labour Party defeated
So
us.
you're saying
Wait,
that
I'm saying that. I'm saying that.
Ifeanyi Okowa has no political might.
No. I'm saying
in
that.
Delta State.
I'm saying that despite the fact that, in fact, in Okowa's local government, PDP lost, Labour Party won. Edo, it was the PDP-led state, Obaseki. Labour Party won. Right? In Kaduna, you had the very short governor, Nasir Rufai, 8th-term governor, former minister of the FCT, great guy by all standards, very intelligent, wants to that particular post as one of the major and loudest supporter of the APC. Guess what? Lost the presidential election woefully. Not only did he lose, out of 13 National Assembly seats, 13 House of Rep seats, they lost 9. All the 3 senates were won by the PDP. And do you get it? In fact, as a matter of fact, they lost the by election. They had to rig Ubasani to
when you say rig, I mean
everybody knows what happened.
Governor.
Everybody knows
so
what
when
happened.
You say rig,
everybody knows what happened in
Ubasani is not the people's
in Kaduna.
choice. That's what you're
if
saying.
You look
now.
at, of course, apparently, it doesn't have legitimacy.
Who do you think was the people's choice?
Everybody knows people's choice.
I would like you to say it.
Everybody.
Who?
His name is Kudan. He's a PDP Guba candidate in last elections.
It was the people's choice,
yes,
and it should have won.
You won the election. You won the election, of course.
According to you, you won.
You won the election. Everybody knew that they won the election.
Well,
but if you look
disagrees, and the numbers, the statistics, the data disagrees.
I told you it was rigged.
How do you know?
Because I know.
You can't just know. You have to prove it.
Okay.
Empirical facts. You can't just say.
INEC says that Obasanjo won. But the people of Kaduna know who they voted for.
Yeah.
And you see that in 2027. Again, if you look at states like Ogun, not far to us, Ogun, neighboring state here, APC, in fact, the governor was contesting for a second term, despite that he lost the election too. It was a fierce contest that decision was made over 24 hours. That election is the most keenly contested election in Oyo State history. Do you want to go to Lagos? Should I remind you what happened in Lagos? Lagos are called Tinubu's own country. And all of the embarrassment. You know why I said all of these things?
But PDP didn't win in Lagos,
of course, APC didn't win too. Now, well, you know why I had to say all of those things? To prove just one fact, just one point.
Okay.
The fact that the entire political structure has just been dissolved into another party does not mean they still will not lose. Because actually, Nigerians are a very smart people. We know what we're doing. And once we decide to follow a particular path, not even our governors can stop us. Let me remind you again that for the very first time, Tinubu won Rivers. That same Rivers gave us over 1 million votes in 2015. Repeated that same feat in 2019. But Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu won it this time around. Quite very disturbing, right? But that is the dynamics of Nigerian politics. So I'm saying that everybody, and Governor Wike was a PDP governor. A governor that performed, actually. One of the loudest PDP governors. You might say every other innuendos and nuances that led to that particular post, but the fact remains APC won Rivers. So what am I saying to you? It's critical for you to understand and note that, and let me also remind you, in 2015, 7 governors, G7, 7 governors,
Yeah.
including the vice presidential candidate of our party, walked out of the PDP Eagle Square, our presidential primaries. Remember, walked out, walked out. In fact, national working committee members were accused of doing anti-party that particular time. In fact, let me tell you, Evelyn, if you don't know, in 2017, 2 years after, he took the Supreme Court of Nigeria, to determine who our national chairman was.
Is that not the same
Wait
fate
now,
befalling
wait
PDP
now. Ahmed McCarthy and Alimadu Sharif, 2017. So I'm telling you that we've had.
It's a normal thing with the
No,
PDP.
no. I'm saying that we've had deeper crisis, greater crisis, and we came out easily. We came out unscathed. See this one. Every genuine PDP member is not bothered because we know that the same way PDP has always come out of our crisis to become stronger. We'll come out of this one stronger. We'll come out better. We come out more united. If you listen to what the former Senate President Saraki said yesterday, he said PDP is going through a rebirth process, and that's the word. So when we remove the hands of people who have very tight fingers, people who love Dubai more than Nigeria, when we start removing hands of people like that from our politics, you will see the genuineness. And let me tell you, Evelyn, this is the only party that people have genuine, organic, natural love for. Believe me, the kind of things that I do, apart from politics, takes me to every part of this country regularly. And I can tell you for free that almost everywhere in Nigeria, you will see genuine love for the PDP. There are natural PDP voters that do not need to be induced.
So that means sometimes you guys induce.
That do not need to be induced.
I'm saying, there are normal voters that do not need to be induced.
There
That means there are some voters that do induce.
That they, of course, when I say induce, it's a very big statement.
I just need you to complete that statement.
Of course.
So
when I say induce, part of inducement is when we do campaigns and we share souvenirs like caps, like t-shirts.
So you think
like
that can
vests.
convince someone to vote for PDP?
Of course.
Really?
In fact, somebody told me that one of the reasons he voted for Governor Seyi Makinde in Oyo State was because they gave her a very beautiful hand fan. Anytime she feels it, she goes there and just uses a particular hand fan to fan herself, and somehow the picture of that governor stuck and the logo of the party stuck.
Wow.
And they have that decision when she got to the polls. This testimony is online. I can forward you the link.
Really?
Of course. So I'm saying that souvenirs too, there are ways to say, okay, please vote for a political party. And you see, are you also aware that campaign is a form of inducement? So if you know how to campaign properly, and that's what we do. If you're not campaign properly, you can also induce voters to say, okay, yeah. So I'm just saying that there are some people that you don't need to give them anything. They just love the party. They love the green, our white and our red that we represent. They love that our party stands for equity, justice, and they understand the fact that we're not like the APC that is run like a cult. They are not owners of the PDP. They are owners of the APC. PDP is owned by Nigerians.
The APC is run like a cult.
Cult, yes, CULT. Cult.
What do you mean by
CULT.
that?
I mean that party run by like a secret cult. The owners know themselves, and it is what you don't want that happens. Unlike the politics, for example, look at Oyo State, for example. Everybody is saying that who will PDP? One of the questions I get to ask, and one of the questions people ask me these days is who will PDP choose? Nobody's asking that who will Seyi Makinde choose as a Yoruba candidate, because they know that we're a very democratic party, unlike the APC, that 95% of Oyo State already know who their candidate is.
All right, so Mr. Ogunsina, let's move away from national politics and come to state politics.
I think we've not spoken about some part of it.
Because I wanted to mention the fact that it seems you're deviating or deflecting the fact that they say politics is a game of number. But
okay. So this is it. Evelyn,
for PDP, you're saying that the numbers don't count.
Evelyn, are we pained that governors left the party? Apparently we have. We don't want them to go. But you see, David Umahi left. Ben Ayade left. Do you get it? They left during last election. Unfortunately, they didn't come back. Even after that, we had 12 million votes. Just that we shared it among the parties because of the selfishness, because of the.
Is it because of the selfishness, or because PDP was not able to put its house in order?
We were not able to put our house in order because some of our people were selfish. Do you get it? That disorder in the house was a result of selfishness. I'm together. So look at it technically, right? We said 12 million votes. So unfortunately, Ebonyi is naturally a PDP state. Dave Umahi PDP give Dave Umahi his first term, second term, right? We give Ben Ayade first term, second term, right? We give Okowa first term, second term, right? We even give Oborevori one term, and now he's left the party. Very unfortunate, very, very painful. But then it is political parties are voluntary organizations. You can logo, you can come. But you see, as painful as it is that we've lost them, eh, the truth of the matter is that this is politics. At the end of the day, that defection will not have anything to do with the polls.
Okay.
Because the people of Delta, they are very, very smart, and also they know how to choose between light and darkness, like they did in 2023.